It's hard to believe we are coming up on the 10th year anniversary of the Apple Watch release date, and I have been an avid wearer of the Apple Watch since day one. In fact, when I look at people that own an iPhone and don't own an Apple Watch, I have to ask, why haven't you bought an Apple Watch yet? Because the Apple Watch has changed the way I view my health, my sleep, my fitness, and has shaped my general view of technology in a way that an iPhone never could. Furthermore, it has always provided me with a almost Swiss Army knife level of utility that can be used for so many little different tasks throughout the day. That is why I find it indispensable. It's why I can never really go back to wearing a standard watch ever again. And that's why I want to tell you why you need an Apple Watch in 2025 if you aren't wearing one already, and why I've been wearing one for the last 10 years. And believe it or not, that actually starts with how it looks. I know there's a lot of debate over the design of the Apple Watch, with many in the traditional watch-wearing world calling the Apple Watch ugly or saying it looks too much just like a piece of technology sitting on your wrist. And I can't disagree more with that statement. I love the design of the Apple Watch. I've loved the design of it over the years, and I think the Series 10 is one of the best looking watches they have ever made, especially the higher end titanium version, which adds a lot of extra polish to the design. Although there are a lot of good looking Apple Watches, even this year's aluminum Apple Watch has a special jet black color that I also think looks very premium and also very unique as well, something you wouldn't find in the traditional watch wearing world. Now, yes, one thing I will say is that the styling of the Apple Watch, there isn't that many differences between the models. You basically get 3 choices. 2 of those choices basically look almost exactly the same with the Apple Watch SE and the Apple Watch Series 10. But then you also do get different finishes, right? You can pick one of those aluminum finishes, you can pick one of the higher end polished titanium models for a more premium look, or you can pick the Apple Watch Ultra, which comes with a larger, sportier look. Now, even though these watches look largely the same, the one thing that most people don't factor into the design of the Apple Watch is how easy it is to change the styling by easily swapping the band. This is where the real personalization comes in. There's just so many different, endless variations you can make because of these Apple Watch bands, which make the Apple Watch suitable for so many different occasions. Now, I get it, looks and styling are very subjective, and the styling of Apple Watches has sparked so much debate over the years, even leading to a viral post where a bride asked wedding attendees not to wear an Apple Watch. And I think that's quite ridiculous, because if you put some effort into it, it's pretty easy to dress up an Apple Watch. And it's even easier when you have a great shirt, which is why you should check out Tailor Store. Tailor Store is different than just buying an off-the-rack shirt, because each and every Tailor Store shirt is tailored just for you. How do they do this? Magic? Witchcraft? AI robots in your room measuring you as you sleep? Not exactly, but there is actually a lot of tech involved in the process of measuring everyone's unique body type. For me, the process was simple. Pick any shirt that you like from their website, and then just answer a few simple questions. And based on Tailor Store's experience and their data measuring tons of different body types, they are able to make a custom-made shirt that fits you perfectly. If it doesn't fit, Tailor Store has a free remake guarantee, so they will alter your measurement and make you a new one. And that's really it. Tailor Store then ships you your custom-made shirts directly to you, and there's no need to go to an actual tailor. Here's a few styles of shirts that I picked out from Tailor Store, custom made for my body type. Not only do the shirts fit great, but they look crisp and are unbelievably comfortable. There's so many styles to choose from, shirts for all different occasions, for dressing up or for casual wear, and the pricing is even less than some off-the-rack dress shirts that I've bought in the past that didn't even fit me properly. These are easily the best fitting shirts that I have ever worn, and I gotta admit, I clean up pretty well in these shirts, and you can too by clicking the link in the description below, and you can get 20% off your order, so make sure you check out Tailor Store, and thank you to Tailor Store for sponsoring this video. Now, when I say you need an Apple Watch, I don't necessarily mean you need the most expensive model. And yes, one common misconception that I've heard over the years is that Apple Watches are expensive, and that's not true anymore. Like how I mentioned before, the Series 10 does come in a variety of styles and options, but the cheapest option is set at $400 for the aluminum model. However, what most people miss out on is just going for the cheaper Apple Watch SE model, and that one offers you most of the benefits and features of wearing an Apple Watch at the cheaper price point. The Apple Watch SE retails for just $249, but it can often be found on third-party sites like Amazon for just $200. At this $200 price point, you do lose out on features like an always-on display, some advanced health sensors like ECG reading, and the new sleep apnea detection. Of course, that doesn't mean spending more money on an Apple Watch isn't worth it. Some people might benefit from having those extra health sensors, so if you know that you might benefit from having an electrocardiogram on your wrist to measure if you have an irregular heartbeat, if that kind of health history runs in your family, then yeah, you should probably upgrade to a Series 10. And then you might also factor in other features like battery life. Now, while you will get about a day's worth of battery life on the Apple Watch SE or the Series 10, especially if you're using it for exercise tracking and sleep tracking, on the Apple Watch Ultra, you will get a lot more battery life. You'll basically get double the battery life of what you can get on those other Apple Watches. So if you're someone that doesn't like to charge their watch every day, you want to wear it for maybe 2 or 3 days at a time, that is when you should probably step up to the Apple Watch Ultra. It's also a more durable watch as well, so that's something you can factor into it. And it does have a very unique look with a lot of character. Even though it's bigger and bulkier than the Series 10 watch, it is a cool looking watch. So I can understand that if you're looking at the styling of these watches, if the SE and the Series 10 just look kind of too plain for you and you're willing to spend more money on the Apple Watch Ultra, that is definitely a cool watch to check out. And yes, the reality is for the vast majority of people out there, the basic health sensors on the SE are exactly what they need. The SE is a great starting point for anyone that wants an Apple Watch with the basics, and honestly, those are really the main features that I care about when it comes to using my Apple Watch to help live a healthier lifestyle. And this is my primary use for the Apple Watch, using it as a way to track through how many calories I burn throughout the day. I know for a lot of people that may sound silly. Wearing an Apple Watch doesn't somehow magically make you burn more calories throughout the day. And if you're a disciplined person that is well versed in going to the gym and you know how much effort you need to put in to hit your goals, it's true an Apple Watch may not necessarily be helpful for you. But for me, even as someone that does attend the gym pretty regularly at this point, I still find it essential to wear. I'm really bad at estimating how much I move throughout the day. Initially, this was one of the big factors that led to me losing a lot of weight, was just wearing an Apple Watch and seeing that I didn't really move around all that much. Before the Apple Watch, I would constantly overestimate just how much I move throughout the day. But with the raw data staring me right in the face, I really couldn't make any excuses anymore. And even after wearing the Apple Watch all these years later, that's still the case. There's some days where I just sit at the computer all day. I stare at my watch and realize I've only taken around like 2,000 steps. So then it motivates me to go outside for a walk or go to the gym and put in an extra cardio session. I am telling you, just those simple steps of moving more, not even worrying about all the extra health stuff, will help you shed a lot of weight initially. But then again, as you go through and you get more advanced and you start exercising a lot more, the Apple Watch does have some great tools there too. Primarily, I love using the heart rate monitoring tool, which can measure which zone my heart rate is currently in for optimal fat burn while not overusing my muscles on lifting days. The Apple Watch is even helpful for telling you when you're kind of working out too much. You can now see what Apple calls a training load, which lets me know how much I've been overexerting myself, not just through the day, but over a period of time, and lets me know when to ease up on working out for a recovery or when it's time to get the intensity back up. But that's one of the things I love about the Apple Watch as a fitness tool. It starts out really basic. You just start by having healthier habits and just a simple way to take more steps throughout the day. But then you can also scale that up to be a tool that gives you even more health data when you're ready to take it to the next level. Now, another big reason why I recommend getting an Apple Watch in 2025 is to make sure your sleep schedule is on point. Sleep is so important. It's one of the most important metrics for your overall physical health, mental health, your immune system, your metabolism, and even gaining muscle. Just like with tracking your daily activity, you may think you're getting the correct amount of sleep every night, but this is another measurement that is easy to overestimate. I used to think I got the right amount of sleep for my body. I would get around 6 to maybe 7 hours of sleep on average a night. In fact, I've always heard that you just needed around that much sleep time for adults to really help out. Like 8 was like the maximum. However, everyone's body is different and sleep needs are different as well. So initially, I thought Apple Watch sleep data was kind of useless. Like I'll wear this watch when I go to bed and I'll go, oh, I know how much exactly I slept. Big whoop, right? But what really changed my mind around this was when the Apple Watch Series 10 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 got sleep apnea tracking, because I always thought that I might actually have that health condition. Sleep apnea is basically a disorder that causes your breathing to stop and start during the middle of like your sleep, and it could result in your body basically not getting enough oxygen and you don't get a good night's sleep, which means you're not well rested the day after. And I would constantly go to bed, wake up, and just feel groggy throughout the day. And I thought, oh, maybe I have this condition. The good news is, after wearing the Apple Watch for months and sleep tracking with it, I realized I don't have sleep apnea. I just have bad sleeping habits. On most nights, I would aim for 7 hours of sleep, but that just wasn't the right amount of time for me. I still felt fatigued throughout the day, my brain felt foggy, and I wasn't as mentally sharp. So while I initially started to measure for sleep apnea, what I realized was that on nights where I slept in later, I felt better, which made me realize that overall, I just needed to get more sleep. And if I dedicated 8 hours of sleep at night, I woke up feeling more refreshed, more recovered, more alert. And even though I used an extra hour of sleep, I got more done throughout the day because I was mentally sharper and more productive. Now, while a big reason why I wear the Apple Watch is for health features like these, it's not the only reason. I also find a lot of everyday utility in wearing the Apple Watch over other watches. Yes, all watches can tell time, but there's so many different Apple Watch faces that I use throughout the day depending on the other amount of data that I need. For example, on a normal day, I use the modular watch face. This allows me to see my time, a seconds counter, the date, the weather, my activity rings, and the UV index. If you notice, I'm quite pale, so the UV index being on my watch is pretty important. Wear your sunscreen, folks, that's all I'll say. And I also have a stopwatch too, so I can precisely time my espresso shots every morning. Of course, I may choose different watch faces depending on the style I'm going for, or if I need a less busy and distracting watch face during a more relaxing part of my day. Notifications are also a big reason why I wear the Apple Watch. As someone that runs their own business, I need to stay on top of a lot of different calendar appointments, deadlines, meetings, messages, emails, and calls. And the Apple Watch makes sure that I can keep track and manage all of these timely notifications, even when I'm not necessarily near my phone. Then there's just the utility of accessing Siri on your watch to control your smart home accessories or getting walking directions so you don't have to constantly hold your phone up. It can easily unlock my Mac. I have an easy tipping calculator on my wrist, and the Apple Watch now even acts as a key for my car. There's so many little use cases that have been added to the Apple Watch over time that has made it even more indispensable. And I'm sure after you own one, you'll find your own use cases that you'll wonder, how did I ever live without this? And if I try and sit here and imagine what my life would be like without wearing an Apple Watch, it's very hard to imagine. There's just too many useful health features and too many useful use cases for it now that I don't think I could ever go back to a time without one. So whether you're buying a cheaper Apple Watch SE, the larger screen Series 10, or even the Apple Watch Ultra, there's really an Apple Watch for everyone. And if you're not wearing one in 2025, this is your sign to rush out and buy one. And if you already own an Apple Watch, let me know what features are your favorite, which ones can you not live without, and as always, I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please give me a like. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.